Welcome back to the We See Monsters channel. In today's episode, we will be exploring Arizona's top 5 most haunted restaurants in the state. At number 5, we have the Old Spaghetti Factory in Central Phoenix, located near the McDowell Central Avenue Light Rail Station, which has been around since the early 1970s. Prior to serving up some of the best pasta in the city, the building was a furniture store and then a residence in the 1920s era. There have been a couple of stories involving homicides on the property. An elderly resident was murdered when somebody broke into the home, and the second encounter was a female who was shot and killed in the basement sometime in the 1930s. The apparition of an elderly man has been seen floating across the hallways as if searching for somebody before completely fading away from existence. Guests have reported to see shadows in the bathroom and have heard the paper towel dispenser go off on its own while nobody else was in the restroom with them. One former waitress claimed the stall doors in the woman's bathroom would slam shut violently, only to investigate the sounds and find the bathroom completely empty. Employees have heard a distraught woman sobbing or have heard screams from the lower basement level while closing up the restaurant. Waitstaff have heard somebody whispering closely to their ear when the restaurant was otherwise quiet. Furniture has been moved around in the sunroom, which is one of the banquet rooms, when staff arrived to open the restaurant, and plate settings and dishes have gone flying on their own. Another waitress recalls getting nosebleeds on days when she was scheduled to work her shift in the library room. Both staff and customers commonly see reflections in the windows and mirrors, only to turn around and find themselves completely alone. At number 4, we have the Four Peaks Brewery in Tempe, with the building itself having over 100 years of history. The staff and owners of Four Peaks have noticed many strange occurrences since the day they moved into the historic building. So much so, in fact, that the Four Peaks Brewery decided to start offering ghost tours during spooky season. Prior to being a local favorite brewery, the building housed a dairy creamery and Uranus recording, which hosted some famous figures in music. The property has had several deaths within the building's walls during the past century, but also on the outside of the property as well. A train crash occurred behind the building in 1898 that killed 2 men. Staff can sometimes hear the sounds of a train rumbling outside, followed by screaming during the time of day that the accident took place. The owners believe it's almost like a constant repeat of the tragic events that took place over 120 years ago. Apparitions have been seen in every single room of the building, and the staff believe the spirits who commonly appear in the back rooms are more malevolent. The back of the building is said to give off more of an unsettling vibe, and objects are often moved or thrown about on their own, leaving the staff to feel as though those particular spirits are not happy with them being in their space. Four Peaks founder Andy Ingram recalled having a conversation with the man in the back of the building in the 1990s, which left him questioning the stranger why he was in the building in the first place. Andy then witnessed the strange man completely vanish right before his eyes, and he later learned that this was most likely the spirit of a man who had died there in the 1970s. During the Four Peaks Ghost Tour, visitors and staff will regularly experience strange sounds and doors opening and slamming shut on their own, something they say is a common occurrence no matter how many people are around to witness these odd occurrences. At number 3, we have the Palace Saloon in Prescott, which dates back to 1877 during the peak of Arizona's Wild West days. Looking at the saloon today, you'd never know of its past riddled with flames, illegal gambling, and even murder. A fire destroyed the saloon in 1883, and the newly rebuilt saloon had a stone foundation, strong brick walls, and a long bar. However, it was again damaged by fire in July of 1900. According to reports, saloon patrons grabbed the liquor inventory and took it to the courthouse plaza across the street. Drinks were served to the men who helped save some of the saloon's valuable properties while the fire slowly consumed it. Despite undergoing several extensive renovations, memories of the building's tragic and gruesome history can never be erased. Given the series of unfortunate events that took place here, it's no surprise the place is chock full of restless spirits. Guests have reported everything from unexplained footsteps to objects falling for no apparent reason. One of the most popular ghosts in the Palace Saloon is that of a man named Nevins. He was playing a game of high-stakes poker and put his mortuary up as his collateral and lost everything to the sheriff. It is said that whenever men play a game of poker, the spirit of Nevins will return, wanting to replay that fateful game of cards. According to the saloon owner Dave, glasses would fall off the rack for no apparent reason, and once there was a plant sitting on the bar that suddenly fell to the ground. There was also a mannequin that fell over the railing from the top of the stairs when there was no one around. Patrons and employees have also had run-ins with the ghost of Jenny Clark, a prostitute who was stomped to death in the middle of the saloon by her gambling, opium-addicted lover, Fred Glove. There are many other ghosts of Prescott's past that haunt the old saloon, both inside and out. Passerbys on the road late at night have witnessed the spirits of the original Wild West days pacing back and forth in front of the property, or have even seen the shadows of apparitions moving about inside the saloon after hours. At number 2, we have Casey Moore's Oyster House in Tempe, nestled in the heart of the historic Maple Ash neighborhoods by ASU's campus. Prior to Casey Moore's being established, it was another restaurant called Ninth and Ash, which was opened in 1973 until it sold in 1986 and became famously known as Casey Moore's Oyster House. Casey Moore's and Ninth and Ash have a deeper history than just serving up beer and food. The beginning of this establishment has a much darker past. The building was once a family home to William and Mary Moore and was built in 1910. William was a prominent figure in the development of Tempe's educational system, but later died in 1929 from a hemorrhage near the fireplace in the home. Mary's death followed in the 1940s when she died in an upstairs bedroom of natural causes. Soon after their death, the old house fell into disrepair and became abandoned. It wasn't until the 1950s when the abandoned home became a boarding house and bordello, where local youths came to partake in illegal activities. Stories have circulated over the decades of rapes, murders, and suicides taking place in the old home. The rough history of Casey Moore's has resulted in several hauntings, including the ghost of a young girl named Sarah, who was murdered. She tends to make herself known at all hours of the day, and guests and employees have seen the apparition of a young girl with dark hair and light-colored eyes, staring at them before suddenly vanishing. Staff have had tables that were set the night prior be completely rearranged the following morning, and customers have even witnessed silverware flying off of the tables. Lamps have been seen swaying violently on their own, and a picture frame even flew off the wall on one occasion. Residents who live across the street from Casey Moore's have even seen a woman dancing through the second-story window late at night, and her apparition usually appears around 4 a.m., sometimes being accompanied by another apparition of a man who is seen dancing with her. On a handful of occasions, neighbors have called the police to report possible intruders in the empty restaurant, although the police have concluded the building was empty and the alarm system was never set off. Many people believe the ghostly couple dancing in the window to be the spirits of William and Mary Moore, dancing the night away in what was once their beloved home. At number 1, we have the historic Big Nose Kate Saloon, located in the heart of the Wild West in Tombstone, Arizona. The saloon has a rich history dating back to the 1880s and was originally built as the Grand Hotel before being converted into a saloon. It is a regular hangaround for the ghosts of outlaws who never left the building. Big Nose Kate was famously known as being the long-term partner of Doc Holliday, who was a gambler, outlaw, and dentist. Quite the combination. The saloon was never owned by Big Nose Kate, although it was eventually named after her once the Grand Hotel was converted. The ghosts that hang around the old saloon are said to be of the cowboys who lost their lives in shootouts just outside of the building's doors. The long-lost spirits are far from friendly and are often known to terrorize the employees who work there. An employee who was alone in the storage room had an intense feeling that someone was standing behind her and soon noticed a dark humanoid-shaped figure out of the corner of her eye. Terrified, she tried to run out of the room, but soon felt the grasp of cold, clammy, unseen hands tighten around her throat. Others have witnessed phantom cowboys standing in the staircase or knocking over cases of beer in the basement. Another well-known ghost that haunts the saloon is known as the Swamper, who was a handyman for the former Grand Hotel. Swamper resided in the basement and was convinced there was hidden treasure buried beneath his sleeping quarters, and he often dug holes and tunnels in secret in search of the supposed treasure. Employees of the former Grand Hotel found his secret tunnels after his death, which led all the way to the Tough Nut Mine, where vacant mine shafts were located. The tunnels are well known to be haunted, and excavators often heard the sounds of disembodied voices and footsteps following behind their every move. Nowadays, the old saloon has regular paranormal activity, where witnesses hear phantom singing in empty rooms. Employees hear chatter after hours, and silverware is often thrown from tabletops, and lights often turn on and off by themselves. The mannequins on the balcony are known to move by themselves and have even been thrown off the balcony by unseen specters. Cold spots are often felt by guests and employees, and camera malfunctions are another common occurrence here. For more spooky content, you can click the links below to check out my TikTok and listen to the We See Monsters podcast.